something to hope for and to hang on to. And I think a lot of times as coaches, we don't realize the importance that our overall program or what success will do for the overall program or for the overall university. And the support has been tremendous, and I really feel that it will continue. Our season ticket sales are up. They're still available over at the ticket office. Mr. Carl Pillow, we've got, some great home games. We've got a brand new floor last year that we played on, that we were undefeated on that floor. The Gentry Center is a showplace. I mean, we've had people now that have worked extremely hard, to get the building to look like a building of old, where, you had people coming in and being able to find the correct seats. The entire building has been repainted, and it really looks good over there. And it's been a lot of hard work and a lot of effort from a lot of people, and the building and the grounds crew, to the people like Gerald McRae, who's in charge of the Gentry Center. They've taken pride in doing those things. So when you see that product of a basketball team out there on the floor, Dr. Haney, there's a lot of things that go in that are involved in it. There's been a lot of people, so quote unquote, behind the scenes that have done a tremendous job of supporting this basketball team and supporting this basketball program. And I just want to just say, to the people in the Nashville community, come out and support this team. Yeah, well, last year we were Cinderella, but I think this year we're a team that's going to be ranked #1, that's going to have to defend this championship, and sometimes having that support, they're visible at the game, being vocal. Those are the things that help you win a lot of those close ball games, and those are the ones you need to win to repeat as champions.
Coach, looking over that last year's team and the incoming team, why don't you give us some information in terms of some of the players that won't be with you this coming season and some of the players that will be there, and what has happened to, I think you mentioned earlier that you placed 2 young men in the NBA. Why don't you give us some information in reference to that so that we can sort of keep our eyes open for that?
Well, the players that won't be with us next year, of course, were our captains, Dwayne Wilson, who will be acting as a graduate assistant coach, and Michael Moore, who will also be involved with our program as he's finishing up his degree. Those 2 contributed a great deal. Michael started every game for us, got a lot of rebounds, played tremendous on the defensive end, and was a kind of a mainstay with the program. He was recruited by former coaches before I got here, but he was the only one that had been recruited by the former coaches that stuck it out, and I'm really proud of the fact that he made a great contribution to our program. The players that will be returning are all OVC Player of the Year. Carlos Rogers, a 6'11" center. He averaged 20 points and about 12 rebounds and almost 4 block shots a game. Another all-OVC performer, Monty Wilson, was Freshman of the Year last year. He averaged in double figures in points and about 8 or 9 rebounds. He's just going to be a sophomore. We're looking for Monty to really pick up the slack and even become a better player. Timmy Horton last year was 2nd team all-OVC. Started every game since he's been here at either the point guard or the 2nd guard. A tremendous defender, one of the great workers that we have. He leads by example. Every day Timmy comes out there on the floor, whether it's practice or a game, he gives you 110%. Also, Curtis Davis made the all-tournament team last year up at Lexington, Kentucky. He's coming back for his sophomore year. But we weren't a team of individuals. We had a lot of people that contributed a great deal. Neil Jones started some at the point guard. When our starting point guard, Greg Watkins, was out, both of those guys did a great job at the point guard position. They're both returning. We also feel that we'll get, great support from people off the bench like John Ruffin and Royce Gurnell. Those people last year that played a tremendous role in what we would call a reserve duty. Those guys were outstanding out there for us last year. I can't say enough about them. Curtis Jenkins, who was injured most of the year, was kind of the inspirational team leader. He would always lead us in prayer. And he's back for his sophomore year, and hopefully he can stay healthy and try to, pick up where he left off before he was injured. And we've added some newcomers to the team that I think will also be a big benefit to us. Locally, we got a young man by the name of Jeff Johnson from Aquinas Junior College. He's 6'8", 245 pounds. We also had played for us last year and did an outstanding job, who's also from Aquinas, Rico Beasley. He was injured most of the year, but down the stretch, he became healthy again. He's one of the best pure shooters that we've had at TSU in a long time. Also, we got another newcomer, Chad Davis from out of Chattanooga, who could really be an asset to us because of his abilities. And a young man that's a great athlete by the name of Damon Page. Damon's done an outstanding job in our early practices, one of the top athletes in the area last year when he played at Gallatin High School. So these young men that we have on the team are going to contribute a great deal to the future success of the Tennessee State University basketball program.
So there's quite a bit of substance in terms of looking over your lineup and in terms of what you have, the young men that you have returning. There's quite a bit of substance in placing you in number one from that perspective.
Well, right. We have a lot of people returning, and I think that that when you look at the experience factor, a lot of times when they make these preseason polls, that's one of the big criteria. But as I've told the players on many occasions, last year we were picked last and we finished first. So, you know, the preseason prognostications aren't always hold water. We've got to continue to work extremely hard and realize that it'd probably even be more difficult this year because of the fact of the added pressure, you know, the fact that teams are really gearing their season to beat TSU. So now we've got to be, you know, more than ever prepared every night out physically, emotionally, mentally to go out and play the type of basketball that it takes to win.
Coach, let's look at basketball within the framework of education and scholarships and whatnot, because I think you've said yourself that you were fortunate enough to get through college through with athletic scholarships and et cetera. Let's look at scholarships now from a national point of view and from the point of view of the National Collegiate Association's attitude towards scholarships. Quite recently, we know that quite a number of the black coaches in America went to Washington, D.C. To deal with specific problems dealing with scholarships and et cetera. Why don't you give us and our audience some information relative to that this morning, and what were they trying to achieve, and what are some of the problems in reference to scholarships?
Well, yes, Dr. Haney, the NCAA is the governing body of college athletics. And the NCAA is made up of colleges and universities like Tennessee State University and all the universities that are affiliated with the NCAA. So anytime you want legislation change, you have to go through the NCAA, their legislative committee, and there's also a group called the National Association of Basketball Coaches that have tried to lobby for certain rules, restrictions to be looked at before